Hello, this is Taylor. So this month I have some insane travel, like insanely cool travel, but I'll be gone for almost a month. I'm starting here in New York, then LA, then to Korea, then Vietnam, then Taiwan, then back to LA, then Houston, before I end up back in New York. However, do my revenue streams stop for that month? Do we put getting that bread on hold? No, but how? How am I able to travel for a month and still maintain a well-oiled machine? Because these days I am a lot better about making sure that my business, which entails filming, script writing, video editing, daily correspondence with brands that I'm working with, still runs while I'm gone. And I like to think that I do it in a way where I still feel like I'm getting a proper vacation at the same time. So I thought I would tell you guys today some of the techniques that I employ in order to achieve this without burning out, and also exactly how much revenue I was able to secure while I was gone. And these tips, as always, I try to make them applicable to a wide audience, so this is not just for remote workers. This will apply to a lot of different jobs. So we'll start with my foundational principles, then we'll move on to my execution tactics, and then my scaling strategy. I still use a lot of buzzwords even though I'm no longer in consulting. So, the heart of the foundation. Plan ahead and ruthlessly prioritize. Wow, Taylor, plan ahead and prioritize. How groundbreaking. No. Listen, I'm talking plan ahead on steroids. In my case for this video, scripting my ideas ahead of time means that it's no problem to switch between New York or Houston or Taiwan. It's not rocket science, it's just preparation. So here's what I used to do. I would get to a travel spot and then feel like I have to film everything to make a video, but then I would give up halfway through because I just wanted to live out that experience in real time and didn't really plan ahead at all. Or I would feel like I should sit down at a cafe for 2 hours while on vacation so I don't fall super far behind. But my tasks at hand were kind of unclear, so I would end up not doing anything, or spinning my wheels and spending more time at that cafe and eating into my vacation. Chaos. Now, I try to lay out before my trip or during the trip during the in-between times, like on flights, exactly what has to be done each day, so that way my business can still run while leaving myself plenty of leftover time to enjoy my vacation. And having this extremely dialed might sound very type A and like it leaves no room for flexibility, but I genuinely believe it is the opposite. Somewhat counterintuitively, in my opinion, structure is what sets you free. No matter what your job is, prepping the to-dos ahead of time and sticking to them removes the guesswork. So today, for example, because I wrote the script to this video ahead of time, I knew exactly what few minutes of footage I had to get today while here in Taiwan. And then I'm free to be a tourist and do whatever else I want with my time without stressing that I have more things on my plate. And this is so much better for my workflow than to haphazardly film everything and then feel like I have to put together the story and the video editing later on, but then don't have enough footage. No more of that. It is such a stressful process. Okay, but it's not just planning ahead. It's being extremely strict with myself about priorities, especially before I leave on my travels. This is something I have got leaps and bounds better at, although there's still plenty of room for improvement. I lay out my list of tasks that I have to do before I leave. Some examples for me in this case were, first, while I was in LA before going to Asia, getting footage at Erewhon for my business case video, and Erewhons are only in LA, so you know. Responding to 3 different brands with ideas and video concepts for upcoming brand deals, sending all my tax documents to my CPA, mailing something to the Department of State, and buying a travel size facial cleanser because I only have full size ones. Now, my instinct would be to do the fun one first, to go shopping for some skincare, but I could do that one anywhere. Heck, I might as well wait until I'm in Korea to do that one because Korean skincare is goated. But no, I prioritized things that had to get done before getting on my flights. So that started with my LLC admin stuff, which I had to do before leaving New York. Then getting all my tax documents to my CPA because tax day is April 15th. I'm traveling until April 1st and I don't want to save that until the last minute. Then filming all the local LA business stuff because obviously that had to be done in LA. I think you're getting it. I don't need to tell you how to prioritize a task list, but I can speak for myself. I used to be really bad at this, where I would do the fun, easy, low-hanging fruit tasks first, and then not be strict with myself about what actually had to get done and in what order, and then I would just be stressing about the undone tasks while on my trip. Now, I try to put out all the little fires in order of importance first, so I can clear up some mind space, and believe me, it has made a world of difference. So to make this very actionable, the exact way that I do this and stay on top of everything is through a very simple Notion page. No, this is not a transition to a sponsor, where I make these little check boxes, maybe a title like need to do before leaving New York, and then need to do before leaving LA to Asia, then need to do while in Asia. Then I file away the to-dos in this order and then rank them in order of priority. It's really as simple as any task list, but this helps a lot for me, and I do not let myself skip around anymore to the best of my ability. These same exact principles applied while I was in consulting as well, by the way. Again, this isn't just for remote work. The world of difference it would make to take 10 minutes at the end of my Fridays to look back at the week and kind of plan my priorities for the week ahead, or just taking 5 minutes on a Sunday evening to look at what I was going to have to do that week. Granted, I probably couldn't fly to Asia for 4 weeks at that time without taking actual paid time off, but you know, broad strokes. So that is my main foundation, planning ahead and prioritizing in a lot of detail. More detail than I normally would while just working in New York with business as usual. Okay, moving to execution tactics. The next thing that I do to maintain my revenue while traveling is to really take advantage of the in-between times. The first in-between time, probably my favorite one, flights. Oh my gosh, you're a captive audience. There's no Wi-Fi, or no fast Wi-Fi at least. Basically have coffee on tap. Say less. It's the perfect environment. I am writing the script to this exact video, the one that you're watching right now, on my flight from LA to Seoul. It's a 12-hour flight, and of course I snacked a bit. I even watched a movie, A Real Pain, if you're curious, and I really liked it. It was very charming. Anyway, would recommend. But honestly, for about 7.5, 8 hours, I pretty much worked. I should note that I do take time here and there where I completely unplug, okay? I'm not a complete hardo. But in this case, being gone for so long, I kind of wanted to work out a way where I could figure out a hybrid model that actually worked for me. And we'll talk more at the end about why I actually generally prefer this approach. Okay, another in-between time that I really took advantage of on this trip. Those early morning hours when you're super jet lagged, but it's too early and nothing's open yet. Here I am in the Airbnb, our first morning in Seoul. Here I am early morning in Hanoi, Vietnam. My first night there, I passed out at like 8:45 p.m., slept like 9 hours. My mom was still asleep and I saw the coffee shops weren't open yet, so I just knocked out like an hour and a half of work right here on this couch. Next in-between time, boom, at the airport, waiting to board. The perfect boring downtime that I could be using to knock out a little bit of a script or film a part of this video. Granted, with super early flights, like this one, I'm not always especially keen on taking advantage of this particular in-between time, but sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. This morning happens to be one where I'm actually somehow a little bit energized, even though I didn't sleep very much. So all of this planning and maximizing the in-between moments isn't just about staying busy. It directly impacts my bottom line. So let me break down exactly how these strategies keep revenue flowing at a relatively normal pace while I'm traveling, and exactly how much revenue I was still able to capture while I was gone. Starting with brand deals, which makes up the most significant portion of my income. The priority tasks that I mentioned earlier, a lot of those were finalizing brand partnerships that I'll film in the coming weeks after I get back from my travels. But because they require time and attention in the month or two leading up to execution, I still have to tend to them. So by front-loading this work, finding reasonable ways that I can still address these things while traveling, and being clear with the brand partners about my travel schedule as needed, I was still able to secure $56,000 in brand partnerships while I was gone. Next, YouTube ad revenue, which is my second largest income stream. While I'm filming this video in Taiwan, videos that I posted weeks, months, years ago are still generating YouTube ad revenue. This passive income stream continues whether I'm in New York or Hanoi or Taiwan, but only as long as I've properly planned my content calendar ahead of time to maintain fairly consistent uploads. So while traveling, my channel still generated about $3,000 in ad revenue. But I should note that that is still a slowdown for my channel. I didn't post new videos while I was here. I just filmed a bunch of them and worked with my video editors to make progress on existing pre-filmed footage. More on that later, but this $3,000 is just pure passive income from old videos. And speaking of passive income, if you guys have been around for a while watching my videos, you know that I am passionate about making money in fun, creative ways. Yeah, you are. Yep. And a method that I've mentioned to you guys before that you can totally do while traveling is print on demand. What's that? So print on demand is a way to create custom products that you can sell on various marketplaces without having to hold inventory, because the item is only created after someone places an order. It's kind of like drop shipping for custom merch. Oh, And why do you like it compared to traditional merch fulfillment? Good question. It's because after you create the products and list them for sale, it runs completely in the background. So I can make sales on designs that I created weeks ago while, I don't know, eating street food in Vietnam. Wait, so cool. Can you show me? For sure, come look. So I'll show you how to use it using Gelato, who I'm lucky to be partnering with on today's video. They are the world's largest print-on-demand network with over 140 providers across 32 countries. Yay, okay, show me. Okay, so if we browse through the product catalog, I've really been loving wall art options because profit margins are higher. They're high quality customized statement pieces that you can hang on your walls. And as with all these other categories, there's zero inventory to manage. So I'm gonna upload my own photos that I took. Nothing like hanging your own photos, am I right? So I'm gonna do one of some beautiful townhouses that I took in Brooklyn last spring, and then another one of me in Utah, because I really love the composition of this photo. Just doing some sizing, this is really just a drag and drop. It is extremely user-friendly. Then I just hit order because I'm ordering it for myself. But if I was selling it, Gelato makes it really, really easy because they integrate with so many different marketplaces. So I could post this wall art for sale on my, say, Etsy account directly from Gelato. And then once the order comes in on Etsy, Gelato automatically fulfills that order for you, right? Yeah, exactly. It finds the nearest print provider, ships it directly to the buyer, and my hands are tied behind my back. And then fast forward, wow, magic, that was fast. I get to unbox the art and hang it on my walls, and it's awesome. Admittedly, it doesn't usually take 30 seconds like it just did, but 90% of Gelato orders are produced locally wherever the customers are, which is also why 90% of Gelato orders arrive within 5 days of ordering, even though they're made on demand. So 30 seconds, 5 days or less, kind of the same. So if you want to try Gelato for yourself, you can get 50% off of your first order if placed within 48 hours of signing up using the link in my description. And the 50% off is great for like a test sample order to check quality and all that good stuff. So thanks to Gelato for partnering with me on this. We absolutely love a location independent revenue stream. Okay, so the foundation was planning ahead and prioritizing on steroids. Execution mainly comes down to taking advantage of those in-between times while traveling. And now let's move to my scaling strategy. So something I've done, and I still have a long way to go, but it's get more comfortable with trading money for time. So if you've seen some of my more recent videos, you might know that I've been going through the process of hiring a video editor to help me buy back my time to work on other videos in the meantime. And even though I will still do a large portion of the editing myself because I want to, having someone else help me do half of it or even more, whatever it comes out to, allows me to parallel process and get started on the script or the filming for the next video. Okay, this might sound childish, but it actually is the perfect analogy. And it's not just for YouTubers, I promise. So imagining you're cooking a Thanksgiving dinner. You have your turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. What else? I don't know, my family does southern green beans with it. Think of all the work that goes into the turkey. Brining it, adding the spices, putting it in the oven where it has to stay for what, like 4 hours? I don't know, my mom does it, but it seems like a long time. Imagine waiting for that turkey to fully finish before moving on to the mashed potatoes. And then waiting for the mashed potatoes to be totally done before moving on to the cranberry sauce. Insanity. Dinner would never happen in time. That is basically how I ran my business for almost 5 years. But what if you parallel process? Boil the potatoes while the turkey cooks, open the can of cranberry sauce while the potatoes are boiling. Let's be real, we're all eating out of the can, right? You see where I'm going. But now let's kick it up a notch. Imagine you have a sous chef. While the turkey comes out of the oven and you start slicing it, you have a whole nother person to start mashing the potatoes. Magic. Sure, it'll take some time to get aligned with your sous chef on exactly how you like your potatoes to be done. But once you're on the same page, that work should really pay off in the long run. And now you can produce 3 separate Thanksgiving dinners in the same amount of time that you used to be able to make just one by yourself. The analogy, obviously, is that while my video editor is helping take a first pass at that other footage, I can be working on the script to the next one, or in Taiwan filming another one. So I'm trading money for more of my time back with the hopes to scale and increase my output. Now, because I am very particular with my work, I personally think it's pretty important to become an expert at every step of the Thanksgiving dinner process yourself first before hiring a sous chef. I do understand the argument for hiring even sooner, but if I didn't go through those years of troubleshooting and going through that trial and error to craft a really specific style and taste of my own, I wouldn't know how to articulate to someone else exactly what I want. Sure, you could hire sooner and then grow together, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know. I'm glad that I held off for a long time. So that's a very specific example on how YouTubers could save time, but for others, maybe it's hiring a virtual assistant who could help you sift through emails so you could put more of your time towards more value additive tasks. Or hiring a trip planner because maybe you hate scouring the internet for recommendations and would rather save your time to get ahead on something different. I read a whole book about this, in fact, and it goes into a lot more detail than I am right now. Like how to place specific tasks into quadrants, where the x-axis is how much you enjoy the task and the y-axis is how value additive that task is to your company. And Dan Martell says that you should outsource anything in that lower left quadrant ASAP. There are exceptions because I kind of did the opposite. The first task that I hired for was the one that I might enjoy the most and one that is arguably the most value additive to my business. But it is the most time consuming by far. So there's that element too. So rather than trading your time and energy, which is a very finite resource, but instead trading money at some rate that makes sense for you, is what will enable you to have some work going on in the background while you're traveling. Of course, this also applies when you're not traveling, but I found this parallel processing especially helpful while I was gone. So why even do this in-between hybrid working method? Why not just put work on pause, actually unplug and take your vacation so you really feel like you're getting a mental recharge and then come back to it afterwards? I kind of asked myself the same question while writing the script. And I realized that the main reason for me, aside from it directly affecting my bottom line, which we already discussed, is that I want to. If you're also lucky enough to really enjoy your work, you know that feeling of it energizing you and giving you some purpose and fulfillment. So even though traveling and seeing the world is one of my all-time favorite things to do, of course, I have found that doing a bit of work here and there while I'm traveling actually keeps me feeling a bit more energized and also keeps me from that kind of uncomfy emotion of feeling like I'm super far behind. Perfect example. My mom and I had a 4 a.m. wake up time to catch our flight from Hanoi to Taipei, and I was stressed and hangry about not having enough plans figured out for us for when we landed in Taipei, like not booking a place to stay. And then I brought myself to work a little bit on the plane and I started to get excited about some new video ideas. And then I got a little energized and it just put me in a better mood for everything else and actually switched my mindset from being stressed to, we'll figure it out. It's all good. It's gonna be okay. Can't stop me. Don't even try.
I could push you down the escalator.
I will say this was so not the case when I was in consulting. I very happily unplugged completely when I took my vacations. And I do think that's a bit easier to do when you're a salaried employee and you have a bit less crossover between your work and life. Beep, 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 reality check, final section, important. I feel kind of like a fraud making this video because pretty much every single day that I was traveling, I for sure thought to myself, geez, I feel really far behind. Or, oh, I haven't responded to that brand yet, but now it's 4 a.m. their local time, but I'm exhausted from the day. Or, man, I still haven't reviewed that video draft. I really need to set aside some time for that. Like, I do not have this completely dialed yet, but I have become noticeably a lot better at this. And when I thought about why, these are the things that I came up with in this video. And so I thought it would be helpful to at least a few of you for me to share these things. Another reality check. This obviously is not passive work that I'm doing, and I don't want to imply that. I'm still actively working, responding to emails once or twice a day, by no means fully unplugging. I still filmed this video while I was traveling. But do I still think that there are times and places to fully unplug, even if you do love your work? Yes. You think I'm gonna be on my, honeymoon and working? Maybe a little. I just usually prefer taking my fully unplugged time more sporadically. So one day here, one weekend there, rather than 4 full weeks straight. So in summary, plan ahead and prioritize in a very detailed fashion. Take advantage of those extended in-between times, like on flights or in the early mornings with jet lag. And if you're in the position to do so, consider trading more of your money for your time back in order to scale this process. This approach is not about never taking breaks. It's about finding a sustainable balance that allows you to enjoy extended travel time while still maintaining momentum in your business. And it is my favorite way to do it. So I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. Thumbs up and subscribe if it was. Cheers from Taiwan. Turtle out. Oh, I'm sweaty. It's hot. It is that season where I'm sweating in this chair because I can't run the AC at the same time because it's too loud. So my upper lip always gets wet. I always get this one mixed up. not trading time for money, the other way around. It's just dewy, guys, not sweat. New York soundtrack.